So apparently I'm what Hollywood is, guys. Thank you for having us here. When I first met Will, it was at a party at the producer that he mentioned we hired to actually do the physical production of the film. And he said, hey, I want you to meet my friend Will. He's going to raise $5 million to make a movie about the Taiwanese independence movement. And I said, hey, great to meet you. And I thought I'd never see him again. But Will has done something that, that in all of my time in the motion picture industry, I've never seen anybody do. And that goes for big producers, that goes for Jim Cameron or anybody else who you might, whose films you might see in theater. He raised a very, very large amount of money to make a movie about a political subject without any script rather, and without any cast members. And for that I was wildly impressed, because when I actually came onto the movie, we were ready to go. We just had to finalize the script and cast the movie. So a lot of what Will has done has been unprecedented, and for that he deserves all the credit and a lot of attention. The movie, we're going to show you a trailer now from the film. As Will mentioned, is coming out very close to 228 in February. And we're really, really excited about it. It's just really critically important that you guys, like you said, bring people who are outside the Taiwanese community, bring people that are from other cultures, because we think that this movie is going to cross over to other people, because it's a story about human beings, and that's the most important thing. So, without further ado, because I know that we've got a little bit of time left, we want to go ahead and show our trailer to you, and then I think we're going to do a little Q&A afterwards. There was a lot of really hard parts about making this film. When you make a film that you have to make, in 2 different continents, there's a lot of logistical issues. We have a part of the story that starts in the United States, in Chicago, and then we have the majority of the story which takes place in Taiwan. And we knew that because of the political nature that shooting in Taiwan may be dicey, and we tried really, really hard to actually shoot the movie there. But there were a couple factors that became impossible. One was the political nature of the film. We were concerned that if we were starting to shoot and represent some of the political things that we represent in the film, that because of the recent change in government from the DPP to the KMT, that we might in fact receive pressure or be shut down from filming. And because we weren't a big studio movie with gazillion dollars to recover from that, we were concerned that maybe we would not be able to complete what we set out to do. There was also a logistical problem of shooting in Taiwan, which is that because the country's done so well for itself, it doesn't look anything like it did in the early 80s. It's refaced itself many times, and we were doing a period piece. So we also scouted simultaneously when we were looking at Taiwan. We also looked at Bangkok in Thailand, which ironically, or maybe not ironically, but the architecture there looks much more like Taiwan did in the 80s than Taiwan does today. So we ended up, for those reasons and other financial reasons, we ended up shooting in Bangkok for Taiwan. And that ended up being very successful because we were able to do a very large protest scene, which represents the Kaohsiung incident. And we were able to do that in the movie with 1,000 extras and not, have any kind of political pressure to do it one way or the other.
I would say in this whole process, actually, the one thing that struck me as being really hard actually was finding distribution. I think that so I was told that basically, actually less than 1% of the films that are made actually get into theaters. I think it's definitely less than 1%, like 0.05%. And so, because most of the theaters are taken by studio films, and independent films are really struggling right now. And so, it was, despite the fact that we felt, we knew we had a good film, but then, people were like, well, he's not Johnny Depp, James isn't Johnny Depp, he's not, Jude Law or whatever. I mean, we didn't have the star power that a lot of distributors were looking for, and so it was really a struggle to find that, and we feel very, very fortunate because we're getting a massive release. I mean, 20 to 25 cities across the US and Canada is massive for this type of movie nowadays. And so, you know, we know that our distributor's taking a big bet with us, but we also told them, you know, listen, we know that this movie has an audience. It has a base audience and it has a crossover audience. And so we're hoping we're right. and that you know, we can prove that right.
Can you talk a little bit about the political climate that exists in this movie? Because that's what my parents love Taiwan too, but they don't talk about it. So I just like to know what it is before I tell them to watch this movie.
You can tell your parents that it takes place during what's known as the White Terror period, which is which took place between 1949 and 1987, but our movie takes place in 1983. And you can tell them, you know, you can give them the log line of the movie, and they'll know exactly what you're talking about. I guarantee it. I mean, they will know about the spying, they will know about the murders, they will know about the harassment. I mean, that was all part of that period. So I guarantee you, if you just tell them that it takes place during that time period, they'll know what you're talking about.
Yes. How do you think your film will be received differently between Taiwanese viewers and Taiwanese American viewers?
Interesting question. I would say, I'm getting a time's up card, so this will have to be the last one. I would say for our Taiwanese viewers, I think they're looking for something a little bit different. That I think a lot of them were expecting a documentary, which this is absolutely not. You know, as we said, we shot in Thailand instead of Taiwan, so it's not going to look like Taiwan per se. So it'll be interesting to see how the Taiwanese audience reacts. It's not going to be clear to me. Obviously, they're very excited that their story is being told, and that's a huge part for them. On the Taiwanese American front, I would say that's our core. You know, that audience has been very, very supportive of the film, and they are our base, and they're who we're depending on to get the audience out there. So all my Taiwanese brothers and sisters, you know, like I said, really we need that support, because otherwise we're not going to be, you know, we're just going to be kind of thrown into the DVD bin. So we really, really want our Taiwanese American friends to kind of help us out. Do you have any last words?
No, I would, you know, thank you for having us here. We're really grateful to be part of the conference, and I know that we'll both be here for a little while if you guys have any more questions for us after the presentation.
Thank you.